Hello, hello, coaches. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Maximize Your Monday. Listen, it is your vision coach, LaToya Early, here supporting professional female startup coaches as I help you hit six figures by showing up in the marketplace, in your niche, as the expert. Right. So I hope that you are ready. Listen, come on in. Let me know that you are here. Let me know what type of coach you are. Let me know what if you are aspiring or if you are growing. Let's go ahead and jump into today's Maximize Your Monday. I am ready. I hope that you are ready. I wanted to make sure all of my communities have access to today's training because we're going to talk about 5 reasons why you need to start focusing on your niche. Listen, I know that, being in the market and being in the coaching industry, it's really intrigued. You become extremely intrigued when you are establishing yourself as a coach. And I know that some of you want to come in and you want to show up as all of these different, offering all of these different services, being able to support all of these different people. But today we're going to talk about why you need to focus on your niche, why that's the most important thing you need to do when you are growing your coaching business. So again, welcome, welcome, welcome to all of our amazing coaches that are catching me on whichever platform you are catching me on. Make sure you come in. Let me know who you are. Let me know whether or not you are aspiring or if you are growing. I will love to see some of those power statement. If you have your power statement, make sure you come on in and share that with me. Again, I am your vision coach, LaToya Early, helping professional female startup coaches hit six figures by showing up and becoming an expert in your niche. When we talk about the startup coach, I want you to keep in mind that I am talking to coaches who has not been successful at generating over $9,000 in your coaching business consistently. So if you are not hitting $9,000 in your coaching business per month, then you are still a startup coach. And listen, let me tell you how I don't want you to get offended. I don't want you to be upset with me. I don't want you to tell, in your head saying, I am not a startup coach. I have been coaching for X amount of time and I've done all of these things. Listen, let me tell you, I was a startup coach for a very long time. Yes, I was a startup coach for a very long time. I struggled with getting clarity in my message. I struggled in being specific in my niche, and I struggled with, really positioning myself as the expert in the industry, right? I struggle with those things. And so this is what kept me as a startup coach for so long, because not only did I require a massive mindset shift, but I required some clarity in my messaging. I required some focus. I required some intentional effort so that I can show up as an expert in niche marketing, right? And so that's what we focus on here at the Chase Great. What we focus on here at Chase Great Enterprises is niche marketing, helping you show up and price like an expert. So listen, I want to go ahead and jump into today's training. Do me a favor, if you know someone who could benefit from today's training, if you know someone who can benefit from learning how to show up and price like an expert, learning how to establish themselves as an expert in the coaching industry, then I want you to go ahead and tag them in the comments. If you are catching this by way of our social media group, our Start to Six Figures group, and you know someone in the community, go ahead and tag them for me in the group. If you're a part of the niche certification program, go ahead and tag someone. If you're catching this on my personal page, if you're Chase Great page, YouTube, wherever you are, make sure you share this, because I want to talk to you about why you need to focus in on your niche and you don't need to focus on anything else. Okay. Again, I've been in the coaching industry going on 10 years now. I've been full time in the coaching industry for 7 years. And when I tell you that I have gone through the highs and the lows, when I first started my coaching business the business started back in 2012. I went full time back in 2014. And when I first started the coaching business, what I tended to do is I wanted to grasp on to the knowledge and the information that the other coaches were providing, right? So I was pulling information, downloads, freebies, whatever I could get my hands on to try to navigate myself through this process. Well, unfortunately, I was not very successful with doing that. I struggled. I struggled because number one, I didn't have anyone to support me and help me with getting clarity on my message. What is it that I'm supposed to be doing in my coaching business? Not just me hearing for myself, because listen, us as women, sometimes in our heads we're right. It doesn't matter what else is happening, it doesn't matter what other people think. In our heads we are right. And so I had to get out of that. Our community manager posted a question in the community the other day talking about pride. And if for those of you who are familiar with my message, for those of you who've been rocking with me for a minute, then you know that the two major things that I had to overcome before I was able to hit exceed six figures in my coaching business was getting over the pride, being prideful. That was huge, right? And then rejection. I struggled with rejection. First of all, I didn't know how to separate the difference between someone telling me no and then someone rejecting me, right? And so listen, I go through all of that good stuff in our niche certification program, but there is a difference. There's a difference between someone telling you no and someone physically rejecting you, right? And even in my book, From Start to Six Figures, I talk about the rejection, and I take you through the rejection recovery, babe. The rejection recovery. Babe, keep having my book, because every time I go live, I keep forgetting my book. And so in the book, I take you through the rejection recovery. So thank you, babe. Hopefully you have your copy From Start to Six Figures. What we're doing is helping you to understand that there's a difference between saying no and being rejected, right? So that's not what today is about. Today we're going to focus on 5 reasons why you need to focus on your niche. But I wanted to share that with you because there's so many moving parts to you growing your coaching business. There's so many moving parts to you hitting that 6-figure mark that you desire in your coaching business. And that's something that I want to support and help you through. So let's go ahead and jump into those 5 reasons you should start focusing on your niche and nothing else. Number one. Once you decide to focus on your niche, this is what it does. It increases your confidence, right? When you start to focus on your niche, it increases your confidence. Why does it increase your confidence? Because it helps you realize that you are skilled, you are knowledgeable, and that you understand how to solve a problem in a specific area. And so when you start to exercise those emotions and those feelings and those thoughts, it increases your confidence, and it really drives you to show up more in the industry. Some of you struggle with showing up in the industry because you don't know what you're showing up for. You're like, LaToya, I know I'm a coach, but what's my message? Like, what am I saying to the people? One thing that I've learned over the 7 years with being full-time is that your message has to be repetitive, right? I know that you feel like you may feel like you're a broken record. You may feel like I've said this 100 times. You may feel like, they're tired of hearing this. But one of the art of niche marketing is being able to take a specific focus and be versatile in how you present that information to your audience. So it's not about you being repetitive. It's more so about you being confident in the content that you're delivering and the solutions that you have to the problem, so that you can not only build up that confidence, build up that esteem, and build up your profit, right? Again, there's so many different moving pieces to you hitting 6 figures in your coaching business. Now, do me a favor. If hitting 6 figures in your coaching business is one of your goals, in the comments, wherever you are, go ahead and drop a money bag for me. I want to know if hitting 6 figures is your goal. If hitting 6 figures is not your goal, then I'm not the coach for you, right? Like, go ahead. It's okay. I won't be offended. I'm not the coach for you. If hitting 6 figures is not your goal, if you've already exceeded 6 figures, then I'm not the coach for you, right? Because the things that I'm teaching the coaches is about foundation. It's about learning how to establish the foundation in your coaching business so that you can show up like the expert and hit the money goals that you desire in your business. You're talking about, LaToya, how do I hit these money goals? LaToya, how do I hit 9,000 per month consistently in my business? Well, for number one, we have to work on your consistency. That's for number one. But in order to work on your consistency, we have to do what? Build up your confidence, right? Remember, I told you there are multiple moving parts to hitting six figures in your coaching business. Does that mean that you can't do it? Absolutely not. You most definitely can. That's one of the benefits of the niche certification program, is that you have this high touch community where we offer you that type of support, where someone is there helping you navigate through your six-figure process. That is one of the things that I missed in my business, is not having someone to tell me, LaToya, that copy that's not right. That's not good. Take that down. LaToya, that graphic, that's not a good graphic. That's not appealing. That doesn't speak to your ideal client. LaToya, this is how you need to do this. LaToya, this is how you need to do that. This is the type of support that I wanted as I was growing my coaching business, because again, I was doing it on my own. It's an unfamiliar space. So you can't go sit at the dining room table and talk to mom or talk to your girlfriends about building your coaching business, because they have no idea of what required of you to build a successful six-figure coaching business, right? And so my goal is to help professional female startup coaches receive that blueprint, that step-by-step process of what it looks like for you to show up and price like the expert in your niche, so that you can now begin to establish yourself as a six-figure coach. When I first started my business, I didn't establish myself as a six-figure expert. I established myself as an experiment. So I was still toiling the waters and trying to figure out, what's good, what's not, what's right, what's wrong. And what I learned is that I wasted a lot of time. Right? I wasted a whole lot of time because I was trying to figure it out on my own instead of connecting to a community that will support me. Now, I will say that if I found it really hard to find a community that supported the coaches the way that the niche certification program supports their coaches. And so this is one of the reasons why the program was birthed back in 2016. However, we're talking about the 5 reasons you need to start focusing on your niche and nothing else. Number 1 being your confidence. Your confidence is what increases your consistency. Your consistency is what creates currency. Okay? So go ahead and put that. Somebody put that in the comments for me. Your confidence is what, nope, let me change it. Your confidence is what encourages your consistency. Your consistency is what creates currency. Somebody do me a favor and drop that in the comment. Your confidence encourages your consistency. Your consistency creates your currency. Why do I want you to think this through? Because again, we want to help you build your confidence so that you feel qualified to stand before your ideal client. Number 2, we're talking about 5 reasons you should start focusing on your niche and nothing else. Number 2, it increases your monthly income. When you're niche specific, what it does is it allows you, it justifies your price point. That's for number 1, right? Because if I'm specific in this niche, if I solve this problem for this person, then it increases my price point, and then it increases my monthly revenue. So if you're wondering, how do we help our coaches generate $9,000 or more consistently, is we focus on helping them show up as the expert in a particular niche so that they can then, and it will go through the rest of the steps, but then it increases their visibility, it increases their skill, it increases their level of expertise. And so now they can put the 4-figure price point on their programs because I'm specializing in a specific area, right? Let me know if this makes sense to you. So we're talking about, thank you, Madonna. We're talking about 5 reasons you need to start focusing on your niche so that you can grow your 6-figure coaching business. We talked about confidence. There's so many different moving parts to this, right? Know that building a successful 6-figure coaching business is not just about the solution. It's not just about your coaching programs. It's not just about your one-on-ones. There's a lot of internal transformation that has to happen so that you can then show up in a different space to your client. If you're not showing up with confidence, why do you want them to invest $59.97 into your program? Right? So there's a certain level of confidence. Your confidence is what encourages your consistency, right? I tried one of my biggest I don't know. One of the things that I'm hard on myself about is being consistent. LaToya, be consistent. Show up, be consistent, do the work, right? And so the more consistent I am, the more confident I become, because now I'm showing up every Monday to the community saying this, even when I show up on some Mondays and there's nobody here. I show up on some Mondays and there's a boatload of people here. I show up on some Mondays and it's like, it's okay. And I really don't feel like it. But the consistency is what creates the currency, right? So you want to be confident. Number 2, we talked about it increases your monthly income. When you're showing up as the expert in a specific area, and of course, your expertise, your messaging has to reflect that, your imagery and your visuals and all of the things that support the business all need to reflect your level of expertise. Before, we talked about the difference between showing up and being professional and then showing up and being the expert, right? Some of you are so focused on being the professional that you're not being the expert. What do I mean? You're so focused on getting the websites and the shiny, they call them the shiny things in the industry, right? You're focused on the websites and the pictures and all of these things, but yet you have not sat down to establish your level of expertise. What am I going to be the expert in? How am I going to show up today for my ideal client? Because they're waiting for you. They're watching you. They're looking for you. They're looking to see what you have to offer them, even if they're silent, right? Even if they're not liking anything. This is one thing I need you to know, is that just because someone isn't liking your post does not mean they're not willing to show up and invest at a 4-figure investment into your program. I'll never forget. I'll never forget. One of our coaches came into the program maybe in February, I believe. She came into the program and we're on our call and, I'm like, oh, nice to meet you. What made you want to come into the program? Because I had never seen her, right? I'd never seen her on a video. And I pay attention. Y'all may think I don't pay attention, but I pay attention. I pay attention to who shows up on the videos. I pay attention to who likes and comments and engage and, who I can create conversations with and who engages with me. I pay attention. I've never engaged this woman. We've never talked, not in inbox, not anywhere. I didn't know she was on my email list. I didn't know anything. This lady came in and paid for her program in full. Never liked anything, never commented on anything. Right? I use her as an example all the time, but I'm tickled by her every time we talk about it because, again, she showed up. She was watching. She told me, I had been watching you for a while, right? And so people are watching your fruit. If you are not consistent, if you're not bringing value, if you're not showing up as the expert, you never know who's watching. For those of you who are just coming in, make sure you come in. Let me know who you are. Let me know what type of coach you are. If you are aspiring, if you are growing, go ahead and drop it in the comments. I want to know who's checking out this video. If you're catching this by way of replay, go ahead and hashtag replay. If you're catching this by live, go ahead and hashtag live. Go ahead and drop your power statements in the comments. Drop a money bag if you're ready to hit 6 figures. Listen, you have so many different instructions, but I wanted to share this with you because I want you to understand that this community, the Start to 6 Figure Facebook community that we created, is for coaches who are ready to grow and monetize their coaching business to 6 figures in their niche, right? How do you do that? We focus on the problem we solve. We focus on whose problem we solve, and we focus on showing up and pricing like the expert. So we're going over 5 reasons why you need to stop with all the noise. Okay? Stop with all of the different businesses. Stop. Stop. Like, stop. Understand this. Listen, let me tell you something. When you go to, I don't know where you guys buy your gym shoes. I've been in a house full of males. I've become this gym shoe person. I don't know where this came from, but my new favorite shoe is the Vapor Max. So when I go on Nike, I do not go on Nike looking for a refrigerator. Like, if Nike dropped a refrigerator line tomorrow, I'm gonna be looking at Nike sideways. Like, that is not what you specialize in. You specialize in sports apparel. There's no reason why you should be selling a refrigerator unless this is like a refrigerator that deposits Gatorades all day. I don't even know, but like, it makes no sense. So for some of you who are saying, I want people to pay me 4 figures in my coaching program, but yet 1 minute, one post you have coaching, one post you got jewelry, one post you have cakes, one post you braiding hair. Like, come on, let's cut it. I understand that some of you are trying to create additional streams of income, and so what you're doing is you're just saying, LaToya, but you're not supposed to put all of your eggs in one basket. You're supposed to be hustling. No, that's not. I understand that that's what you've been taught, but that's not the way. That's not how this goes. In order to perfect something, you have to be focused in it. And when it comes to marketing and producing and hitting multiple 6 figures in your coaching business, you have to be consistent. And when I talk about consistency, I'm talking about 12 months or more, right? Consistency is not showing up every 2 to 3 days saying, oh, but I was consistent for a month. Right? I've been doing Maximize Your Monday since 2015. I just told my husband the other day, like, I think I'm about to stop doing Maximize Your Monday. Like, I think that the season for Maximize Your Monday is over, right? But for whatever reason, I can't let it go. So what am I saying? If you want to hit 6 figures in your coaching business, I'm going to need you to show up with confidence. I'm going to need you to focus on your niche, right? Because we're talking about 5 reasons you need to start focusing today. One of the reasons is because if you're trying to be Jack and Jills of all trades, while you can be good at these things. Let me get this. Let me make sure I'm clear with this. I know that some of you are multi-talented. Listen, when God birthed you, he gave you a whole bunch of gifts. He did. And I think that is the beauty of choice. You get to choose which one of these gifts am I going to use to pursue purpose, to fulfill God's purpose for my life. Remember, purpose, when you're fulfilling purpose, you're saying, excuse me, you're saying, this is the avenue that I'm going to use to serve God, right? I'm going to use, because purpose is not about our purpose, it's about fulfilling his purpose. What is his purpose? That all might be saved, right? So I'm going to use my gift so that I can draw people to the kingdom. Which gift are you going to use? Because if you're trying to bake cakes, build houses, write books, and sell jewelry, you're not ever going to stand out as the expert to your ideal client, because you are trying to focus on too many things at one time. I'm only talking to the woman. Listen, if you're not the woman who wants to grow a multiple 6-figure coaching business, then I'm not talking to you. If you want to still use your coaching business as a side gig, as a side hustle, as a part-time, whatever these different terms that people use, then by all means, rock out. But if you're ready to establish yourself as a business owner, because my goal is, I've been able to transition from working my 9 to 5 and working full time in my business. Now, yes, I had my husband, helping support the household financially. But let me share something with you. Anything that the company needed, it was our responsibility to produce, right? So I never took money from home to finance my business. It was always, you need to produce, you need to show up, and you need to produce, right? And so what am I saying to you? I'm saying to you that it's time for you to show up and produce. If you want to hit these milestones in your coaching business, then you're going to have to start applying focus to your business so that you can grow. Right now, the table has turned. I've been able to financially support my family. I've been able to financially support our household. Why? Because I was laser focused and laser specific on the problem that I saw for my ideal client. Right? I understand it sounds good. It feels good to try to put your hands in different areas, but putting that is a distraction. Focus. 5 reasons why you need to start focusing on your niche and nothing else. Number 1, it massively increases your confidence. Number 2, it increases your monthly income. Number 3, it increases your credibility. It increases your credibility. I love this. I love this forgiveness coach Sandra. She said, I am not called to the hustle. Listen, I'm not called to the hustle, and neither were you. There's a difference in the book. I talk about in the book From Start to Six Figures. I talk about 3 different types of people. I talk about the entrepreneur, I talk about the self-employed, and then I talk about the business owner. I've been all 3, right? I've been all 3. Which one are you? There's a difference. There's a difference in your mindset. And once you identify which one you want to become, because I wanted to be a business owner, I wanted staff, I wanted a team, I wanted people who can help this well-oiled machine move forward, right? But if you're stuck in that entrepreneurship where you're looking to do all of these side gigs and side hustles, then you'll stay stuck. All right, that's not what we're talking about. We're on number 3. We're talking about 5 reasons you should start focusing on your niche and nothing else. Number 3, it increases your credibility. It increases your credibility. Understand that when someone recognizes that all LaToya talks about is niche marketing, all LaToya talks about is your niche. It's hilarious when I run into people in the street and they're like, oh yeah, you tell me to focus on my niche. It's hilarious. I absolutely love it, because why? People know LaToya by what? Niche marketing. Not even the marketing part. Know your niche. Stop trying to be all over the place. Get focused, right? It massively increases your credibility. So when you're talking about raising your prices from 4-figure to 5-figure to 6-figure investments, it's a no-brainer, because I'm going to someone who knows what she's talking about. There's a trend out here, right? It's a trend where women are going and getting the little bodies done and getting this moved and this tucked and this moved over and sucked out and all this stuff. And they're going to the top doctors. They're going to the experts. They're paying $10, $20, $30, $50,000 for these new bodies, right? Why? Because they want to go to someone who specializes in this area. So they're willing to pay Dr. whoever $50,000 to snip, tuck, and move this around to make them feel good. Why? Because he's an expert in that industry. So just as someone's willing to pay $50,000 to him, someone is willing to pay $50,000 to you. I've seen it. We have 2 coaches, as a matter of fact. One coach just signed on a $20,000 per month. Excuse me, goodness. One of our coaches just signed on a $20,000 per month contract with one of her clients, right? Then another client came in and she just signed a retainer, a $25,000 retainer with her clients. So you can't tell me that there's not someone out there waiting for you to show up as the expert and say, hey, listen, I have the solution to your problem, right? It increases your credibility. With it increasing your credibility, then it begins to do what? Increase your monthly revenue, and then it increases your price point, right? Number 4, it increases your visibility. It increases your visibility. When you decide that you want to be established in this lane, it increases the visibility because there are people who, I know that you may think that, I want to be a life coach, right? One of the things when I first started my coaching business, I knew that God didn't call me to be a life coach because I knew that he didn't call me to all areas of the life. Like, I just knew that. I knew that as a vision coach, it was my responsibility to help you see your next level. Right? So as your vision coach, I'm here to help you see your next level. What is that going to be required of you? It's going to require you to transform the way that you think. It's going to require you to do some internal digging, transformation, and change. It's going to require you to do some work, right? So when some of us jump onto the industry, we want to become life coaches because, again, it's a very familiar and a very popular area. Unfortunately, you stepping out being a life coach does not establish you as an expert in anything. So if I can come to you to help you, for you to help me learn how to plan, balance my checkbook and weight loss, you're not really helping me, right? You're helping the client. I'm sorry, I take that back. You're helping the client, but you're not really an expert in anything, right? You're an expert in maybe time management. You may be an expert in planning, but what is it that the person is coming to you specifically so that you can help them and support them in their journey, right? What are you helping them do? It's going to massively increase your visibility. Ever since I start focusing on niche marketing, I'm starting to see people now show up more and more because they're trying to figure out, LaToya, how do I show up and stand out in the industry? I don't want to look like everybody else. I don't want to sound like everybody else. Listen, the systems are pretty congruent. Now, I've been in a couple of coaching programs. I'm actually in one right now. The systems are pretty congruent, right? The systems are pretty much the same. The difference, let me tell you, the difference in those systems is the messaging. It's how you show up. It's how you stand out. It's your language. It's the words you use. It's the confidence that you have. It's the internal work that you've applied. Like, this is what makes it different. The thing that what I've learned is what gets you to $1,000, $5,000, $9,000 per month is not what's going to get you to $100,000 per month, right? But you have to be willing to put in the system, lay the foundation so that those milestones, when it's time for you, some of you are like, LaToya, I want to make $1 million in my coaching business next year. Listen, it's doable. But if you're not putting in the systems for you to first hit $5,000 a month, then how are we going to get you to $1 million? Understand that what you're doing now, if you're not making $9,000 or more in your coaching business, then we have to reassess what you're doing. What are you doing? How often are you showing up? Right? How consistent are you? Right? See, very good. See what I'm saying, Sandra? Standing out as the expert. My question to you is, what are you doing in your coaching business right now that is not allowing you to generate any income? Where are some areas that we can make some changes? What do we need to tighten up on? Is it your messaging? Is it your consistency? How about your ideal client? Right? How about your power statement? What does that sound like? What does that look like? Do you even know? Right? We're talking about 5 reasons you should start focusing on your niche and nothing else. Number 1, we talked about it increases your confidence. Number 2, it increases your monthly income. Number 3, it massively increases your credibility. Number 4, it increases your visibility. And then number 5, it establishes you as the expert, right? It establishes you as the expert. When we're talking about hitting that 6-figure mark in your coaching business, which is the 6 figures is, this means that I'm on the map, right? I'm talking about 6-figure is the bare minimum. Anything less than 6 figures, you're still a startup coach. Anything less than 6 figures, you're still a startup coach. I get it. I was her, she was me. Don't get mad at me. I'm talking about myself because I was there. I was a startup coach for years, right? For years. Why? Because I didn't have a system. I didn't have the support. And I wasn't specific enough, right? I didn't have my systems. I didn't have the support, and I was not specific enough. So if you're struggling, I want you to ask yourself this: do I have the support? Do I have the mental and the physical support to help me hit my six figures? Are my systems in place? Do I have a streamlined system where I understand how my clients are coming in? I understand how I'm going to enroll them, and I understand what I'm going to provide them, the results I'm going to bring. What does your system look like? And are you being specific in your message? Or are you still general? Are you still saying that I want to help you live a better life and freedom? What? And why do you want me to pay $59.97 for you to help me do that? Right? But if you're being specific on helping you live your life in freedom, what is it? What is freedom? For number one, freedom is based on the person. So what is it that you're doing? How are you supporting them? How are you helping them? Right? And then, I already told you, number 5 was it establishes you as the expert. Listen, this Thursday, July 8th, I am hosting a live training where I'm going to share 5 key ways to show up and price like an expert, even if you don't feel qualified. I want to help you transition your thinking so that you can establish yourself as the expert, and then I'm going to show you how you're already the expert. This be the biggest issue. Some of you show up, but you have not embodied your expertise because you don't feel qualified. LaToya, I haven't coached enough clients to be an expert. That's not what makes you an expert. Well, LaToya, I'm just getting started. No one knows that you're new but you, right? What other rebuttal you want to share? Charissa said, what if the answer is no to everything you are saying? What tools are out there to help with this? We are bombarded with so many people saying they can help us, but it's a lot of noise. Oh, that's so good. So let me get some clarity. What if the answer is no to everything you are saying? To give me some clarity on that. I can answer the second part, but let me know, Charissa, what do you mean by what if the answer is no to everything you are saying? Everything that I'm saying or everything that you're saying when you're out positioning your message? But what if you're bombarded? So here's the thing. This is what I love. You do have to learn how to have an ear to hear, right? There is a lot of noise. There are a lot of coaches with different promises, different programs, different strategies. But this is where you have to have an ear to hear. You have to go into prayer and say, okay, Lord, listen, I'll never forget when I hired a coach to work with. I asked God, like, Lord, I need you to show me. I kid y'all not. In a dream, he brought this woman in my dream and we had a whole conversation. I woke up the next day and paid for her program. I kid you not. Another coach, the coach that I'm working with right now, I'm like, okay, Lord, I need you to show me. I need you to help me so that I can go to next. I had this person I hadn't even seen. And then she just started popping up on my timeline again. It had been years. I had been following her probably since like 2012 or something, but I had stopped. And then when I said, okay, Lord, I need this, it showed up. Right? You have to be able to hear. And then and this is a good thing. What do you look at? What do you look for when you're hiring a coach? What is it that you need? Make sure this program or this coach is offering you, and be specific. It's okay to be specific in the things that you desire. One of the things that I desire when I hire a coach is that they have to be Bible led. I don't want you to give me any other principles outside of the Word of God, because that's what I live by. Right? So when you're giving me other ideologies and other thought patterns, then that's not something that I'm particularly interested in. But one of my requirements is your technique or your principles, rather, not necessarily your technique, but your principles have to be founded on the Word of God. That's number 1. Number 2, I like to ask questions. I need to know, how do you do this? Show me. And so I look at that. That's something that's very big for me. I need a community. Where can I go ask questions when I need something? right? These are some of the things that I look for so that I'm not bombarded by everyone, but I take my time. I'll listen to one coach at a time, because then when you start listening to all of these different ideologies, then you start being confused. And we know that God is not the author of confusion. So you want to find a coach that you feel connected to, and give yourself some time to listen to this coach to see if they have what you need. Everything you're saying. What if you don't have a system and don't know how to put one in place? Good. Okay. What if you're not sure on your messaging? What if you are unsure how to get to six figures in your coaching business? So all the things that you're saying we need to have. What tools can we use to help us in these areas? Great question. Great question. Okay. So if you don't have the systems and you don't know how to put them in place, you can do a couple things. Number one, you can keep trying to figure it out, right? You can figure out what systems you want to use, what systems you want to implement. You can keep downloading freebies. You can keep, downloading tools. Or my recommendation, of course, is to connect with a community that can support you and walk you step by step through this process. Because when it comes to your messaging, when you're sitting down and you're trying to identify the message, again, there's a lot of different moving parts to this. So it's not something that you can sit down and create it on your own, which is what I did the first several years of my business. But when you have a trained coach where her ear is trained, right? Where her ear is trained to hear you and help you walk through it, then it crystallizes. And so when you're doing things on your own, it's a little harder because you're bouncing out ideas off of yourself. So this is why when it comes to these type of tools, of course you can have checklists, you can have all of the checklist things that you need to do when it comes to systems, your scheduling, your automation, how are you delivering your content? How are you meeting with your clients, your Zoom, all of these things in place. But if you don't have anyone to bounce the messaging off of to get clarity, then you'll stay in this place of confusion because you don't have anyone there to help you hear. Right? Even as a vision coach, I still hire coaches because I can see in other people's business, but for whatever reason, y'all know how this works. I struggle with the gap in my own business, right? So if you're unsure of how to get to that six-figure mark, if you're unsure of your messaging, if you're unsure of your systems, I encourage you to join us and connect with us in the Start to Six-Figure community. I encourage you to apply for the niche certification program so that you can learn whether or not our community supports you in those areas, because those exact areas that you just shared, we definitely support you in that. We help you with your messaging. We help you with your systems. We help you with your automation. We help you with your scheduling links. We help you with your sales pages, teaching you how to write copy that converts, helping you with your ideal client. So all of the things, Teresa, that you just asked how, this is why we birthed the niche certification program, so that we can not only help you show up as the expert, but we can help you build a six-figure business along the way. Right? Look, Miss Sandra beat me to it. Sounds like the Chase Great Niche Certification Program is for you. It addresses all of the issues you mentioned. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so listen, we talked about the 5 reasons you should start focusing on your niche and nothing else. Understand that your niche, when we talk about your niche is the key to your six-figure breakthrough. I'm telling y'all, your niche is your key to your six-figure breakthrough. If you want to learn my 5 key ways to show up and price like an expert, even if you don't feel qualified, then I want to provide you this bonus training. All you have to do is buy the book. All you have to do is buy this book. I think it's like plus tax and delivery is like $28. You get the book and you get a workbook. You get a whole bunch of stuff actually. But you do get a book. You get the working workbook that goes with it. Purchase this book. Meet me Thursday, July 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to take you through 5 keys to showing up and pricing like an expert in your coaching business, even when you don't feel qualified. What I'm learning is that the coaches have the hardest time showing up as the expert, showing up consistently, and showing up at a four-figure price point because they don't feel qualified enough to be an expert. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about how you're already a qualified expert, and we're going to talk about how to price yourself accordingly. Cool? So listen. Cool. So then I'll see you Thursday, April. Congratulations. I'll see you on Thursday, April. For anyone else, make sure you go ahead and purchase your book, get your copy, not just so that you can have access to the training Thursday, because the training is going to be the bomb, but because you need to read this book. You need to read this book. Like, seriously, if you're a coach and you're like, LaToya, how do I do this? Get the book. No problem, Sharissa. Thank you so much for joining us on today. I'll be sure to reach out to you once we're done. Okay, ladies, listen. I have exceeded my time by 15 minutes, but you ladies were in here asking questions and giving me life, so I wanted to stick around. I'm getting ready to jump back into working. I know today is still technically maybe the holiday, but we got to make it happen over here at Chase Great. So have a fantastic week. I'll see you ladies in the community. Don't forget to purchase your book so that you can meet me Thursday for our live masterclass. If you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to inbox me, reach out to me, email me, whatever works for you. I look forward to working with you ladies. I look forward to helping my professional female startup coaches truly hit six figures and show up as the expert by becoming specific in your niche. Understand that the riches are in the niches. That's so corny, but it works. Have a good day, y'all. Talk to you soon. Be blessed.